Located between Kimberley and Cranbrook, the Wycliffe Conservation Complex is set amongst a dramatic backdrop in the Rocky Mountain Trench. An area of spectacular beauty, the complex has a diversity of habitats, functions as a regionally important wildlife corridor and supports a number of species at risk. At more than 1,400 hectares, the complex is a patchwork of conservation parcels, managed by three partners: the Nature Conservancy of Canada, the Nature Trust of British Columbia and the BC Ministry of Water, Land, and Resource Stewardship. 2024 marked the sixth year of a project the partners are leading, to both restore and enhance ecological values across the complex, all under the umbrella of the Kootenay Connect initiative. As part of an annual report submission, this video describes two sub-projects administered by the Nature Trust of BC on behalf of the partners. Let's find out more about fencing and invasive plant management efforts over the past year. Fences serve an important function. They demarcate legal boundaries of the complex. They protect biodiversity and wildlife habitat values from threats, such as unauthorized motor vehicle use and livestock trespass. Using a fencing plan developed several years ago as a guide, the partners prioritized 5 fencing projects for 2024. Hiring 2 local contractors, Darkside Fencing and Bootleg Contracting, the projects were completed between August and November. The following photos show before and after conditions for each of the 5 projects. In total, 2,795 meters of fencing was addressed. This included 1,705 meters of replacement on a WLRS conservation area. It also included 1,015 meters of fence removal and a new 75-meter build on an NTBC conservation area. These fence projects help to conserve habitat and biodiversity values across 293 hectares, many for species at risk. As a regionally significant wildlife corridor, all fence projects used wildlife-friendly design and build specifications. Trail camera footage shows how projects completed in 2024 and from previous years allow wildlife of all types to pass over and under this infrastructure. The partners hired the East Kootenay Invasive Species Council and its subcontractor Mountain View Resources to complete invasive plant management efforts. Together, they were responsible for planning, coordination, incidental inventory, chemical treatment, treatment monitoring, long-term effectiveness plot monitoring, data entry, and reporting. Chemical treatments totaled 33.76 hectares, spread across the complex at 22 different infestation points. 5 invasive plant species were targeted over the months of August and September. Treatment monitoring showed that there were no issues with efficacy or site completion. Long-term monitoring was also undertaken at 11 different plots.
We record all plant species we find in the plots, both native and invasive, and then compare the data over many years to see how the native plants are getting impacted by treatment and if the invasive plants are decreasing.
The plots are showing mixed results, as displayed in this graph. The highest priority species, treated every year, are being successfully reduced in density and distribution. However, there aren't enough resources to treat the lower priority species annually. In many instances, these species colonize before native species have an opportunity to re-establish. Cheatgrass has become a concern, quickly spreading throughout the complex. Without an approved herbicide available for use in Canada, control efforts are challenging. This year, we also expanded our invasive plant education efforts with the installation of one more sign and bootbrush station at a popular access point. Overall, 2024 was another productive year at the complex. The highlight for the partners is seeing the impact that 6 years of ecosystem restoration and enhancements are having. Substantial fence projects have improved wildlife permeability, protected conservation values previously at risk, and removed kilometers of unneeded fences across the landscape. Invasive plant management efforts are always challenging, but there have been some wins. A decrease in high-priority species is evident, with a documented example of one species being eradicated from the complex. Next year will mark the final year of the project, but efforts on these initiatives will continue. The partners would like to thank all of the contractors that helped us deliver projects in 2024, particularly the Rocky Mountain Trench Natural Resources Society and the East Kootenay Invasive Species Council. We would also like to thank our funders for their generous contributions, which includes the partners but especially to Environment and Climate Change Canada and the Columbia Basin Trust. Finally, a big thank you to the Kootenay Conservation Program and its Kootenay Connect initiative for making this possible.